episode is suspicious. Hey, it's Romania Black, and I don't trust it. Because we're on the penultimate episode of the Donghua for Thousand Autumns, and it's only 22 minutes. And I'm like, what? What? The shortest episode of the season, which is only going to be like 18 minutes. Whenever I see something that's like a short episode of anything, I'm like, okay, they intentionally are cutting it off, probably at a cliffhanger before the season finale, and I don't like that. But what can we do? What can we do? So last episode, I left Whiteboard Kuno with all my notes because I haven't had time to transfer them to my notebook. I haven't really been transferring the notes as much to the notebook anymore because I kind of have a feeling of the world building. And I did that at the beginning of the season. I wrote down in this notebook like a lot of notes because I'm like, okay, it'll be a while before I go back to the novel and start that. But now that we're getting closer to the novel reactions, I'm like, okay, well, we'll wait and see. So as of right now, I've been polling Patreon, and it's got a couple days left as I'm recording this. The poll will be over by the time you watch this episode, whether on YouTube or Patreon. But at the time, as of right now, things may change between now and then, but as of right now, Patreon is mainly wanting me to just react to the novel chapters with you all on screen, and then off screen, I can watch the audio drama and then come back and give you all any notes from it. And I kind of will talk about it next week because by that point, the poll will be done and I can talk more about what I'm doing with the novel. But mainly, I want to read the novel and react to it. I've been really excited about that. And then the audio drama, we'll talk about it next week. So for the finale of the season. But regardless, I am really excited, but it's the season penultimate episode. And last week we got to meet Zhao Qiang, and we got to meet Ruan. Ruan took his own life, jumping off a cliff. And we also have found out some information concerning the celerity possibly, and the fact that Yan WuShi might be in danger. So there's been a lot going on. We're going to obviously retread some of those things in this episode, I'm sure. But before we get started, I had two comments from episode 11 I want to talk with you all about. Claro 3 said for episode 11, I kind of cringe at the word infatuated. So I checked, and the expression they use is zohuo rumo, which means basically to enter a demonic state, kind of like succumbing to demonic energy unintentionally. I think it's some kind of chi deviation as we're used to by now, but I'm not sure. That's how I interpreted it because I was thinking of going into like key deviation and doing that. So that's kind of my thought about it as well. So we're going to just assume that that's what's happening. And then Zuri Joseph says for episode 11, hi, it's me again. I show my mom every time you try to say my name. And this time she told me to stop tormenting you already. But I love leaving comments on your videos, so I'll keep bothering you for a while. Please bother. Please borrow. As long as you are okay with me butchering your name, comment away. I just apologize for getting it wrong. One day it'll be correct, maybe, possibly, we hope. The Beimu couple, an interesting ship. Yes, Kunye does seem like he'd be the bottom. I like that you see the vision. Thank you. I think it's because he's got that prettier, cuter face, and Duan's got the chesticles out like Yan WuShi, which actually fits the theme. At this point, whether it is Song Jijing or Yan WuShi or Duan, if the chesticles are out, you're probably an alpha. You're probably top dog. But if you are hiding all those things, you might be into the chesticles. So I don't know. Does that make Bairong an alpha top dog? Yeah. See, it would work with her and Shen Qiao as well if he wasn't, invested in other people. So anyway, I appreciate you all commenting and leaving your kind words. I'm so ready to get in the novel, but we have 2 more episodes of the Donghua before we can do that. And next week, I'll be able to tell you all in more detail about how we're doing the novel reactions. There are also apparently chibi shorts. However, the chibi shorts, which are kind of like what Modazushi Q did and all that. However, the moderators are working to make sure that the chibi shorts are not spoiling things in the novel, because apparently some of them do. I told the moderators that I would love to look at the chibi shorts, but maybe, just maybe, we wait until we're like into the novel before we get into those. We'll see. I'm not in any rush. We'll get to those as we go, but yeah. So I just got home from work. I sat down. I was like, what do I want to watch? And I was like, I really kind of want to get into the penultimate episode of Thousand Autumns. I'm very anxious to get to the novel, if you couldn't tell already. So yeah. But anyway, we are not going to waste any more time. We are going to start episode 15 of Thousand Autumns and see what we get. And we're going to do that here in 3, 2, 1. And I'm going to throw this to Huckleberry, tell him to go lay down, and let's go. This episode was practically a tease. I mean, this is a really good episode, and there was a lot that went on with it, but I'm not gonna lie, it was basically a damn tease, because we basically just set up that, oh yeah, Yan WuShi, he is being Princess Toadstooled over to another castle by Dwan, who is now, Dwan has lost his partner. It was such a short-lived ship, but damn. So, I put some stuff up here on Whiteboard Kun before we started, but Kunye is dead. Kunye has been killed by Shen Qiao. Damn, Shen Qiao is the one actually out here killing all the villains, which, you know what? I'll put Whiteboard Kun, move him over here. You know what? It is actually kind of refreshing for the main character, because Shen Qiao, he kind of has that, Bugs Bunny mentality. If you don't know what Bugs Bunny is a Looney Tunes cartoon that was in the US like in the 1970s, 1960s. And growing up, I watched a lot of Bugs Bunny cartoons, and Bugs Bunny was always kind of like, he was basically like Shen Qiao, where he never really antagonized anyone outwardly, but if they poked him, he poked back. And I watched a video later on, a few years ago, where someone was pointing out, they were like, if you've ever watched those cartoons, Bugs Bunny had like a rule of 3. Like the bad guy, whoever was the villain in that episode, he would poke at or like antagonize Bugs Bunny 3 times. And then after the 3rd time, Bugs Bunny would fight back. And it was to basically establish that Bugs Bunny was a good character, because he wasn't the one that would come out and like threaten the other characters, but if you threatened him, he was going to fight back. And that's kind of the mentality that Shen Qiao has in this series. He also did the Goku thing, where I don't know if you've watched Dragon Ball Z. In that series, the main character is facing a villain, and he lets the villain go. He does what Shen Qiao does. He's like, okay, I'm going to let you go. Now you've learned your lesson. Now don't do it again or I'll kill you, but I'm going to let you go, and you can see the errors of your ways. And what does that villain do? He tries to attack Goku, and Goku's like, I warned you! And then it deflects, and then they end up dying. And that's literally what happened with Kunye here against Shen Qiao. So what are we going to do? But we have established a few things. Dwan still has the ring. He still has the ring. We're going to talk about that. And then the dragon meat, we're going to talk about that. But one thing I do like is that at least Shen Qiao is on the same page now as we are. He knows the things that we know for the most part. So we need to dive into this episode. What a damn tease of an episode. It was like 18 minutes long. It was not long enough, y'all. We're going to do that here in 3, 2, 1. Courage and Knighthood. I feel like the translation's a little bit off, but I like Courage and Knighthood as an episode title. So let's get past this recap. Basically, I like that old Qi Ying, she tried to pass off Shiwu to Shen Qiao. That was short-lived. But I agree. As much as Shiwu wanted to go with Shen Qiao to the dragon meat, that is no place for a child. That is a liability. Shen Qiao is not going to be able to focus on rescuing his boyfriend if he's got a small, child right next to him that he's got to deal with as well. No. That's not going to work. He can go back and tell Shiwu what he finds out later, but we'll see. So I was really not prepared for Kunye to just show up. I thought we were going to have to go looking for him. I thought there was going to be a setup to that. No, Kunye came to him. I'm like, you show up ready. Kunye was very confident. I think Kunye did not realize that Shen Qiao had the poison healed and that Shen Qiao was back to true to form. I think that Kunye thought, since he had battled Shen Qiao when he was weakened and since he was poisoned, he just thought he'd waltz right in and say, oh, where's Shen Qiao? And get him. Also, I think that part of his plan was that he wanted to use Shen Qiao to help lure Yan WuShi out, because everybody in all these sects have realized by now, thanks to the meet that Shen Qiao went to, they all know that Shen Qiao and Yan WuShi are working together. Kunye knows that. Duan knows that. They all know that. And so do all the HEADPHONE members as well. They know it as well, too. And they're working with Kunye. So I think that Kunye went to Bishia to try and kidnap or take hostage Shen Qiao, take him back to the dragon meet, and then say, here, Yan WuShi, and dangle him on a string like a carrot and hope that Yan WuShi shows up, which would have worked immediately because you know that Yan WuSi would have shown up. But it's funny how he kind of had to pivot once Shen Qiao was defeating him. He was like, I mean, if you let me live, I'll take you to the dragon meet. I'm like, well, of course you want him to take you to the dragon meet because you were going to do it anyway. But you know, now there's a chance that you could die. So you're like, well, what if I took you there to go meet your boyfriend? Kunye was trying to be clever, but it did not work out for him at all. And so, yeah, he gets a little bit sexist here where maybe he wasn't trying to be sexist, but he's like, oh, you're the leader? He's like, it says a lot for the people. They say you have genius skills, but seems it's just a rumor. And she's like, man, your insults suck much, pray tell. So, yeah. He's like, just surrender my disciple and I'll show mercy on you. So he actually came there for poo on me, which she says it a lot more gracefully than I have. So he actually came for his disciple. Let's establish that. Did he come for the disciple? This series has my mind in the gutter. Came for the disciple, disciple Pooh. And so I also think though that along with getting his disciple, he wanted to get Shen Qiao to use as bait. It would have just been very helpful because then he could have Pooh on me and him help take Shen Qiao back to the dragon meet. So he had a plan. It just did not go accordingly. I think it's also worth noting that in all of the other scenarios where Kunye has fought that we've seen, he's always had people backing him. If you've noticed, he always has either Duan there or he's got when he was battling Shen Qiao in the beginning, there was all the other fighters there. Like he's never really been by himself. So the one time he's by himself is when he loses. I think that speaks a lot. Also, it's a cool reveal that Duan, the guy that you would originally think is Kunye's disciple or his lackey, is the opposite. Now he's in charge. And he's the actual secret, head of Beimu. Interesting. But he also was that old master's disciple as well. So, yeah. Damn. Let's all just take a moment to appreciate that Shen Qiao flung his sheath at Kunye. Not the sword, the damn sheath. He attacked him with a sword sheath. That's impressive in itself, right? But yeah, Shen Qiao's like, it's Brittany, bitch. I love it. How do you do? My name is Sue. How do you do? Now you're gonna die. It's basically how this song and dance went, Johnny Cash style. I like that Shen Qiao, even though he can be a sassy mother trucking tsundere, there's that ball. Even though he can be that, he is still polite. He's a polite little tsundere. He's kind of reminds me, he's polite there's a character in Cherry Magic that's similar to him. So he's like, I shouldn't call you. And Kunye just doesn't know how to read the situation. He's like, oh, Chief Shen, I shouldn't call you Chief anymore. I'm like, dude, read the room. You are not in the position. He's like, are you waiting for me here to seek revenge? Or have you forgotten how you were defeated from me by then? And so he's like, UI was to blame for your poisoning. And it's just rubbing salt in the wound because Shen Qiao is like, man, I thought we were childhood besties and you're just reminding me about what a terrible person he was. Now, here's the thing. Shen Qiao brings up this concept of just let the past be the past. Which is kind of going back to this idea of letting bygones be bygones. Where he's like, because Shiwu keeps asking, he's like, the guy that left you for dead, would you forgive him? I keep waiting for Shen Qiao to acknowledge that what Yan WuSi did actually saved him. I don't know if Shen Qiao has put those dots connecting yet, or if he doesn't really want to talk about it with people because he doesn't want them to know that Yan WuSi actually saved him. I'm going to wait till the novel. We're going to wait till the novel points that out. We're going to wait till then. We're going to see what his inner monologue says then. But it's interesting to me because from that logic where he's like, well, just let the past be the past. It's like, well, then that means you'd probably forgive him. But he's still trying to reconcile. I feel like Shen Qiao is not only reconciling between Yan WuShi, he's also reconciling between UI. Because UI poisoned him and left him for dead. So he's trying to be like, well, I want to forgive UI. But if he forgives UI, you would think he'd forgive Yan WuShi as well. So it just depends on what they do now, right? Now, this part here, he says he wants to forget it. He says, let the past be the past and forget it. That ties back to last episode where Shen Qiao was like, I don't know who you're talking about. I'm not with Yan WuShi. We're not together. And that's just him saying he's going to forget Yan WuShi. But we all are like, please, sir, you're fooling nobody on that front. So yeah. So he's like, I've wanted to battle you for a long time. Meanwhile, we cut back to, this is probably the only like weird cut in the episode, but I get why they had to have it. They needed the guy who clearly likes Qiying. They needed him to have a conversation with Shiwu. They're over here forming this triangle, like this sewing circle of spiritual energy. And Shiwu's like, hey, you know, is Kunye very powerful? And he's like, well, Hugh Lugu and Shi Fengge were comparable adversaries. So in theory, their disciples would be comparable adversaries as well. But I think Duan's more powerful. And she was like, why does my master have to battle with him? He's already lost once. And then this guy says he must battle again, not only for himself as well as to defeat him. I like that the senior disciple's like, this is not just about defeating Kunye, but it's also about Shen Qiao regaining some integrity for himself. He lost this battle once, but now he needs to win this one to gain that dignity back, right? So anyway, we had to have that scene to justify before they run out and join them during this battle, but they just kind of stand there and don't do much during it. And then the guy's like, what happens if Shen Qiao loses? And Qiying's like, well, we're up Schitt's Creek without a paddle in that case, so prepare yourself, gird your loins. So then we have this battle, and Shen Qiao is like, I've been waiting for this battle a long time. If Yan WuShi saw that face, that revenge face, it'd be over. It'd be over for Yan WuShi. Yan WuShi would evaporate into a puddle. Into a puff of steam is what he would do. I mean, just... So yeah, I did like during the battle, I liked the fact that Shen Qiao, his waves of energy were blue, Kunye's were red. I liked the chopping waves. I liked that Shen Qiao, we get to see him like back up to form as he faces Kunye. I feel like Yan WuShi would be so proud. And I'm sad that Yan WuShi can't see him in his prime facing off against Kunye. It's really sad. You know that Yan WuShi would be so proud of him, right? Also, damn, Shen Qiao is freaking fast. He is freaking fast. Like, and then of course there's the idea that the stronger that Shen Qiao gets and the more he's successful, the worse off Yan WuShi is. Look, do I think that Shen Qiao is going to rescue Yan WuShi? I don't know. Do I think Yan WuSi is going to be a big old tsundere moron and try to be like, I don't need your help? Probably. All I want at the end of next episode is for Yan WuSi to like pass out and we see Shen Qiao like carrying him bridal style to wherever. And that's where the season ends and we have to pick up the novel and find out what happens next. That's what I want. I want that so badly. That will be so hype, but I don't know if we're going to get that or not. Or maybe Yan WuSi is going to be a moron and push him away again. Who knows? Who knows? Who even knows? We're going to talk about that celerity here in a little bit. But yeah, so the sky flashes were awesome using Mount Zhondu's techniques. The animation here was just really good. The fight scenes were great. And I like that we legit get to see a decent fight. And here's the thing. Yan WuSi is not even at full strength. I mean, not Yan WuSi, but Shen Qiao. Shen Qiao's not at full strength. He's still kind of handicapped in this match, which is crazy. Giving me some Evan Official's Blessing vibes. Not gonna lie. But yeah, I like the commentary that we get during the match as well. I like that the way Qiying describes Shen Qiao as a calm. He can't take advantage with an aggressive saber attacks because Shen Qiao is just like this calm ocean. I love it. So, and then the one guy tries to jinx the match by being like, oh, well, Shen Qiao's going to win then. She's like, oh, hold on, let's not jinx it. Not necessarily. He's got the 9 layers of saber attacks. And he keeps changing the battlefield. Yeah, I thought Kunye was smart trying to like change up where they were fighting so that it wouldn't be like the terrain change might give him an advantage or to try to figure it out. And Shen Qiao is still recovering, so he's not fully ready to like battle at full strength. I thought that was a good note to make. I don't know. It's interesting. We have the nine layers of his attack. We have the 9 levels of the Phoenix descending, the 9 saber attack layers. Interesting. So yeah, but this battle was really well done. I liked it. And then yeah, Shen Qiao just draws. I like Shen Qiao draws him away from the others. And what do the others do? They follow. Shen Qiao's like, I'm trying to draw him away from you guys. Come on now. But no, then he does this like saber attack, the 9 layers, which is pretty bitchin'. I like that it's just like this tornado of energy and it creates all these illusions and stuff. That's also an amazing shot of Shen Qiao where Shen Qiao's just like, what is this nonsense? What do I have to deal with? Look, they've made Shen Qiao look absolutely amazing this episode. So, Yan WuShi, I get you. I get why you'd want to be with him. I absolutely understand that. I get it. But yeah, it was kind of cool seeing him like cut through the layers. And I like that we get to see like Shiwu, he looks really like he has faith that Shen Qiao is going to be able to get through it, which is great. And inside the tornado, I like that Shen Qiao is like, he hears his grandmaster say, I hope you keep in mind the Taoist philosophy of kingdoms in war, woe for all, life and everything, it never ends. And then he digivolves. And then he digivolves, which is welcome, of course. It never ends. Know the things around you. Know yourself. Forget both things and yourself, and you will be easy and free. So be selfless. Be a selfless little bean, and you got this. Yeah. He basically just taps into the Zen, and everything works out to his favor. I love it. I love all of that. And then using like the yin and yang power to like squash the saber tornado was great. So yeah. And then this is when Shen Qiao, Shen Qiao is like, look, where there is a sword, there is Tao, and being pure in heart. I love it. I love it so much. So, I mean, doesn't Yan WuShi have a sword? Doesn't he have a sword? He doesn't really though, does he? Because he uses the Phoenix descending. I was like, if he has a sword, then he has a chance to be pure of heart, maybe. But yeah, so Shen Qiao offers him, as he's mastered the essence of sword. He admits defeat, and Shen Qiao is nice. And he says, okay, I'll let you go. But what are you going to do? He's like, oh, don't kill me. You can tell Shen Qiao really wanted to kill him. He was like, give me one reason. He's like, why not? He's like, it's useless to kill me as long as Yan WuShi dies on September 9th. So do you remember the 21st of September? Perhaps if you like Earth, Wind, and Fire, but do you remember the 9th of September? Apparently, Yan WuShi is set to die on September 9th. And that, we find out, is going to be the day of the dragon meet. September 9th, y'all. Mark your calendars. They're sending the invites out. He's like, then Beimu will certainly retake the Central Plains and unite the martial arts circle. And Shen Qiao is like, who's making announcements of when my boo is dying? So he basically is, Kunye is acknowledging that Yan WuShi is like one of the only people that can stop Beimu from taking over. So that's why they need him to die. He's like one of the one people that could unite some people and change the tides. And so he's like, what do you mean? Shen Qiao cares about him. Let's be real. And he's like, well, Yan WuShi despises and humiliates you, and you expect to kill him personally when his doomsday is coming. Kunye misjudges. Kunye's like, oh, you want to know where he is so you can go kill him. And we're all like, define kill, because I don't think that's what he wants to do. He's like, and I like that. I feel like that's a mistranslation where he's like, oh, I can't defeat him. But he wants to know more about it. I've arranged my peer to guide Yan WuShi to attend the dragon meet at Hulangu. Well, if by lead or guide you mean, and your peer, you mean Dwan, like, got him to chase him to the dragon meet, then yes, sure, cool. That's exactly what just happened. And I've invited the top 4 martial artists and established a full network to kill him. So, however powerful he may be, he won't escape this time. And Shen Qiao's like, well, Yan WuShi has spoiled your plan repeatedly, and you will certainly spare no effort to kill such a big troublemaker. But how can you order the top 4 martial artists? And Kunye's like, look, everybody wants a piece of the pie. They all want Yan WuSi dead because he's a threat to them in some way, shape, or form. He says, for this battle, okay, so we find out the top 4. Now, the top 4 martial artists, he didn't mention Ruyan, so I was kind of like, maybe not the top 4 of the top 10, but rather 4 of the top martial artists. Maybe that's it. So there is Do Yanshan, who is with the Liu gang, old beardy frat boy. What he's planning on doing, I don't know, but he's just there for the ride. Zhuyan. Now, look, Zhuyan is the abbot, right? Zhuyan is the abbot. He has a lot to gain by killing Yan WuSi, so he would be a problem, our preceptor of Beifong. Then Guang Lingsan, leader of Fajing. Guan hates him, so it's only natural that Guan Lingshan would want to get rid of him. So that part's pretty easy to understand. And UI. And that's when Shen Qiao is like, excuse me? My ex is wanting to get rid of Yan WuSi, but why? I'm surprised that Ruyan's not part of this, because Ruyan fought Yan WuSi earlier. You would think he'd want to finish the job, but maybe that'll benefit Shen Qiao down the road. But yeah, no, UI is jealous that Yan WuSi has run off with Shen Qiao, so he wants to ensure that he dies, of course. He remains obdurate. What the hell does obdurate mean? I was like, as an English teacher, I was like, obdurate? What does this mean? He refuses to change one's opinion or course of action, according to the Oxford Dictionary. I argued this point with him, but he was obdurate. Oh, so he's basically stubborn. So... Shen Qiao's like, why is UI so stubborn about Yan WuSi? Well, my friend, because he knows that Yan WuSi and you two got a thing going on. That's why. Yeah. So then he's like, Yan WuSi already went astray in his martial powers after his battle with Ruyan. As a member of the evil gang, Ling Song knows how to deal with him. Yeah, Ling Song, of all of these people, of the 4, UI and Do, I'm like, they're just there for personal reasons because they just want a stake in it. But the abbot, Zhuyan and Guan, they're the ones that worry me because they could do some damage. We're not going to lose this time. And then Shen Qiao's like, you've premeditated this murder. So you have to go. But how do you know Yan will be there? He's like, oh, we dangled a pretty nice carrot on a stick. It was a ring-shaped carrot. He's like, Yan WuSi would go even if he knows it's a plot to kill him because he's too confident. I do like that they established that this whole time, none of the people over here, Shiwu or none of Qi Ying and her disciples, none of them can hear what's going on in the conversation. So that's good to know. It's the anti-aside in this case. And there's also the last volume of the Celerity. Now, this is interesting. Shen Qiao is like, oh, the last volume of the Celerity. Now, I think, and this is my personal opinion, we'll see if the show dictates otherwise, I think that Shen Qiao has an idea of why Yan WuSi would go after the Celerity, but Yan WuSi has a different idea. Because Shen Qiao thinks back to this, he thinks back to Yan WuSi telling him that when he got the Celerity, he ignored it, but then he read about the Phoenix Descending's fatal weakness, and he wished that he had used the Celerity. He's like, do you know why I told you this story? So Shen Qiao interprets it as the celerity can save Yan WuShi. Well, of course, Shen Qiao would be like, this last volume of the celerity, Shen Qiao wants to get it so he could save Yan WuSi, but he also believes that Yan WuSi would try to get the celerity for himself. And that would track with his character. If that's what ended up happening, I wouldn't be surprised. But Yan WuSi, we believe, wants to save Shen Qiao with the celerity. So these two bakas, these two young men, I don't know how young Yan WuSi is, but these two men are convinced that the reason they need to get all the celerity is to save the other. Y'all. Now, if we got there and Yan WuSi was trying to get the celerity to save himself, I would not be surprised. I'd be like, okay, yeah, that checks out. But I think he's trying to get it to save Shen Qiao, and Shen Qiao believes that Yan WuSi is trying to get it to save himself. So he's like, is that why he would show up? He says, well, you seem very interested in the last volume of the celerity too. If you let me go, you can come get the celerity, and then you can go to hell. Yeah, that was a bad idea. And then Shen Qiao's like, look, I told you, bitch, not to do that. And he ends up shooting him through the heart with the illusory sword. Yep. And this line, he said, my master said that Hugh Lugu is a respectable opponent, but you are not at all respectable as his disciple. You don't deserve to be his disciple. What a damn, that is some shade. That is some high level shade that he is throwing at him. Damn. Yeah. And then down he goes. And he be dead. I honestly, when I started this episode, I did not imagine that Kunye would die in this episode. That's crazy to me. That's crazy that we have this happening. Meanwhile, and he's like, so I like that Shen Qiao recognizes Mount Zhandu can never resume. They can never resume its prior peace. And the world will inevitably be launched into chaos and war. Yeah, I think Shen Qiao is realizing what Yan WuSi was trying to tell him, being like, look, you can try to get things to go back to the way they were, but they just won't. Even if you cut off the head of the snake, there's another snake already taking its place. Meanwhile, okay, this whole bit of Duan trying to escape on his flippy floppies, how this man outran Yan WuSi with his flip flops on, had to be because of the poison. There's no other way. But the Naruto run, Yan WuSi doing the Naruto run is actually insanely hilarious. It's so funny. It's the battle of whose chesticles can propel them forward using the airspeed velocity of pectoral muscles. Like whose chesticles are stronger. If it wasn't for the poison, I would give Yan WuSi the win, but damn. And then he gets stopped. His heartburn stops him. And Duan's like, oh, thank God I made it back home to Hulan-gu. They're going to try to... I like that Yan WuSi stopped. He saw the skeleton, convinced him to stop and hold on, but I am worried. He literally is right at where the dragon meet's going to happen. But I think Shen Qiao is going to make it there. The question is he going to make it there in time? I don't know. So, he has this dream, and in the dream, Yan WuSi is talking about how benevolent he is. But he's like, if you couldn't protect yourself today, you would have been killed. And he said, he says, support an emperor without popularity. It's not very interesting. If the evil gang finishes a job beyond the ability of the orthodox gangs, what does it mean? Which is kind of funny because he kind of has. By using the evil spirit that was injected into Shen Qiao, it did heal him. So he did succeed in that. Yeah. And then here's the thing, like all that has been Yan WuSi telling Shen Qiao to question, like, you know, is what you're doing worth it? Is you being true of heart and kind worth it? And now we see, I want to see who kicked him. We see Yan WuSi surrounded by the people that are going to kill him. So we see him getting kicked, and there's UI. There's all of them. Yep. You can see the leader there, Do. You can see UI there. You can see Guan. There's also Duan, but there's also, the abbot is there as well. And of course, Shen Qiao goes to save him, and then he wakes up. I mean, you're not fooling anybody, Shen Qiao. We know you want to go save him. Come on now. So he wakes up. It's been a day or so. Shiwu has been given a sword by Qi Ying. Glad she checked with Shen Qiao about this. And he's like, well, thank you. And he's like, I'm fine now. Are you fine now? And so he asks Shiyu, if there is a person, he asks him this question. He's like, Master, what is wrong with you? And he says, Shiwu, if there's a person who delivered you to a bad person so that you lost your base and Taoist spirit completely, would you hate him? And she was like, well, yeah, I would. And then Shen Qiao's like, ah, son of a bitch, I'm in love with him. That wasn't the answer. Our answers were supposed to be different. My thing is, and I'm waiting for the novel to kind of confirm this or not, but my thing is, I guess, and again, the novel's going to give us answers, so if I'm off base, y'all will know. I'm sorry I'm making you sit on your hands for this part, but I feel as if I'm like, does Shen Qiao realize that him getting injected with the evil spirit helped to cure him of the poison? Or is that something separate and he's more along the lines mad that he delivered him to Song Jijing? Maybe that was it. But in any case, Shen Qiao's like, well, it's not that simple. He's like, yeah, that sounds like an answer that you should probably give. He's like, however, that person that you immediately want to destroy, he's like, if there was a chance that he could save the world from chaos, but his death will cause more innocent people to be harmed, then would you choose to save him? That makes it more complicated. It's like, would you forgive him for doing these bad things? And she was like, well, no. He's like, okay, well, what if saving him would help a lot of people and deliver the world from chaos? Then would you save him? And that makes things more complicated, right? He's like, will you really go and save the person who caused you to almost die? And he's like, yeah. He's like, yeah. He's like, I kind of am. I know. I'm a glutton for punishment. And she was like, well, it's not worthwhile to have just save such a ruthless person. And he's like, he's not ruthless. It's not that. He just has no mercy at all. He has no mercy on anybody in the world. That's pretty big. I like the idea of they're two opposites, and Shen Qiao is realizing that. He's like, I have mercy on everybody. I have mercy on everyone to a fault, where I'll have mercy on them, and then if they keep fighting me, well, then yeah, I'll take care of them. But I'll have mercy on everyone, because I think everyone's worthy of mercy and worthy of living. Yan WuShi is the exact opposite. He has mercy on no one. He's very equal in having mercy on no one, but he has mercy on no one, and he believes that no one has the right to live. So they're polar opposites. They're two sides of this coin. And Shen Qiao is like, yeah, I didn't realize it in the beginning. I thought even the coldest ice would melt down finally one day. Here's the problem, is that Shen Qiao's sitting here saying this, and we, the audience, are like, oh, no. You have melted that ice. You just don't realize it. It's a little bare trickle. It's a little trickle running down his chesticles, down his little pectoral muscles there. It's the tiniest of drizzles. But you have melted it just a wee bit. You just don't realize it. You don't know it because he's not showing. And she was like, I like they both looked at each other like, melting his ice? Like, what you sound like you wanted to, like, date him or something. They're like, you sound like you wanted to go out with him or something. I don't know. But he's like, okay, well. And then him taking woe for all. He's like, in the world, you won't get repaid, however hard you might try and contribute in many cases. I like they're both kind of like, what are we getting at? But Shen Qiao's like, look, some people are just charity cases. They're just charity cases. And he's like, I'm fine with that. Are you sure you're going to go and save them? And see, she was like, well, then I'll join you. I'll come with you. I'll go with you and we'll go save him together. And Shen Qiao's like, yeah, that's sweet, kid, but you're going to get hurt. So no. He's like, he's all yours, Leader Zhao. And she's like, son of a bitch, I thought I was pawning him off to you. He's like, it's too risky. Take good care of him. And she's like, are you freaking serious? And so then she's like, why do you have to go? If you focus on cultivation at Bisha, then you'll master the essence of swordsmanship and be a god of the sword. And he's like, well, I can always come back and do that later. There's always something in the world that you must do despite its difficulty. I love that Shen Qiao is like, I know, I might come back to Bishan and do that later, but sometimes when you're in love with somebody and they're being difficult, you still gotta go save them. I don't know what else to tell you. But I won't give up. And she's like, man, I love that she's like, that's some ambition. You know all the consequences, but you sneer at them. I mean, Yan WuShi noticed that. I appreciate your great benevolence that I don't have. She's like, you're doing stuff I wouldn't do, so good on you. And he's like, I know. You can't be mad at Shen Qiao. It's impossible. He's the most precious angel being. That's why Yan WuShi loves him so much. And then he's like, I just want to see him and tell him that I haven't been enchanted and controlled by the evil spirits. I'm still myself. This part here, when he's like looking up at the sunlight, where he says, I'm still myself, he's like, I want to go and tell him that after all of his trying and all of his attempts, he failed. He's like, I'm still myself. I'm still a pure angel being. His attempts did nothing. Then I believe I'll see a look of disappointment on his face. These two have some kinky shit going on. They're like, we just want to like rouse each other up. He's like, I want to go see how disappointed he is. And then he's like, gotta go. And they're like, what a weirdo. They're like, that's a strange relationship they've got going on. Here's the thing. Do we believe that Yan WuShi is really going to be disappointed that he overcame it? I mean, he's going to try to be a tsundere, but do we really think he's going to be disappointed? I mean, for real, though? I don't know about that. I don't know about that, y'all. So then they give us this montage as Yan WuShi is walking towards the dragon meat, towards getting kidnapped, all that. Shen Qiao is off to save him, and they just make it to where the two of them are walking side by side, and then they both end up in the same little space together as one. Come on, show. Come on. I love it. It's great. It's wonderful. I'm absolutely a huge fan of that. So, damn it. And now it's the end. Ugh. So this episode, I did not have as much to talk about with it because there just isn't. Because this episode was 18 minutes long. And it's a setup for the season finale, which is next week. So I'm not sad because we still have all of the novel to get through. So I'm not sad about that. Don't you worry. But it does feel so weird that we're at the end of the Donghua now. It feels so strange to me that we're doing that. So anyway, I will say that after next week, we are going to take a little quick break. Like I always take a week off in between seasons and in between shows just to show extras and other things like that. So we will take a week off. We'll have next week will be the season finale of the Donghua, and then we'll take a week off. There'll be an extra. It'll probably be something BL related because that's how I roll. And then the following week, we will start the novel. And that will also give me a little bit of time to kind of look at your comments, prep for the novel reactions, get in the groove of things, all that fun stuff. So, yes. Anyway, I'm so excited. I cannot wait. It's going to be amazing. Y'all, it's going to be a fun time. So, with that being said, I hope you all enjoy the rest of this week. I look forward to hearing your comments down below. Please like and subscribe to the channel if you want to see some more Thousand Autumns every Monday, and also to help support the channel, go check out my Patreon, all that fun stuff. But I want to thank you all so much for stopping by. I hope you all have an amazing week. Please stay safe, take care, and yeah, I'll be back very soon with the season finale, technically series finale of the Donghua, womp womp, of 1,000 Autumns. And I'll see you then. Bye.